Good morning. Welcome to Flat Earth Early Bird number 1568. I'm your host Arwin, and before we start the show, please don't forget to share it on any platform you deem fit, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell notification so you know when I'm going live, which is normally 1 p.m. Amsterdam time in weekdays and 2 p.m. Amsterdam time in the weekend. And please also do support me through the PayPal and the Patreon. That would be much appreciated. And yeah, I can always use the support, so please keep it coming. Right. And yeah, thanks LSG again for the PayPal. That was very helpful. Keeps me going. Right. Whether today is, I don't know, man. It's seems to be changing a lot. So, like, not really, just a few hours ago, it was still raining. Let's say 4 or 5 hours ago, it was still raining, I think. Has been raining a lot during the night. And now it's just seems to, yeah, big clouds, but dry and a bit of sunny here and there. Barely any wind. It's a weird day. It's one of those weird spring days. I definitely remember those. I'm feeling kind of weird too. But not wonky. I feel fine, but... Right. So, it's Wednesday, the 12th of April 2023. Let's check the temperature. $12 degrees, right? Right, well, nothing special, but I feel kind of weird though. Might be also because I avoided smoking tobacco today, and I'm not really used to that anymore. Like taking cannabis pure. It's kind of weird because it definitely has a different type of impact. But it's fine though, and I really do notice that the tobacco is just like wearing on me. Last night too, though not as heavy as the night before, it was just the same thing. It's just, you know, it's the tobacco. And like every time now I even like one little bit of smoke of it, I can feel it in my lungs. It's very annoying, really, like that. But on the other hand, hey, a good warning signal is a good warning signal. So, hey, Richard G, first in chat, good to see you. Yeah. Yeah, you know what's really kind of weird also is like I don't know any tobacco smokers anymore. I'm trying to figure out who's like the last person that I knew that was actually a smoker. And right, it was like, yeah. I mean, that's like at least a decade ago. At least. Well, more. It's weird. Like, I don't know anybody. Like, and even when I go and buy tobacco, I've never ever bumped into somebody like I knew. Even from way back or something. It's like, I don't know anybody that smokes. It's very different from a long time ago. Because it used to also be kind of like smoking and then talking. I really kind of appreciated that part, like the ritual that surrounded it. But it doesn't exist anymore. Like, it's not there. Maybe, like, if I go out, like, parties and there will be people smoking outside, and some of them might even want a conversation. But I mean, I'm not really going anywhere, so it's just not happening ever. And yeah, even though like the detriments of it are still there all this time. Anyway, gotta listen to it. Yeah, I know. But I'm also figuring out like it is almost like maybe a bit of an allergic type reaction. It's something spring related that's happened. That I am very certain of. And the funny thing is that when I try to dig back to associating frequencies in the past, I figure out that this would be pretty much the moment that I'd be pretty damn sick. Like actually get the flu. And like, yeah, really be sick. But I'm not. So it's almost like I wasn't really sure what's going on, because normally I'd be sick now. And I'm not. I'm still functioning, which is kind of weird to me. Like, what is this? Right? So even though I have the associating impulses that I would also then get, but also get sick, I get just the impulses, but not being sick. Really, not really. And like, I don't really know what to do with this. It's like, what is this? This is new. I don't get sick anymore? Really? But what? So what do you do then? What can you do? And what should you do? What shouldn't you do? It's like, because when you're sick, you're just sick. You're going to be doing the sickness routines. There's not a lot of options. Anyway. So, yeah. I'm going through a restoration cycle, but I'm not really sick. And it's kind of weird. It's almost like, is that okay? Like, is that a good thing or isn't it a good thing? I'm not sure. Right. Anyway. Doing just fine other than that. I am noticing that there is like mood swing shit going on out there. How do I know it? Because suddenly you get the psychological warfare. Oh, sudden suggestion. Oh, so innocent. Oh, depression. Oh, yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you, ads, for literally shoving that in my face and thereby attempting to trigger that happening. Because you know it's fragile now. Oh, so subtle psychological warfare, literally trying to unchain terrible things in people. Thank you for that. So subtle. Satan. Ugh. Right, but it's not gonna happen though. Like, even though I am sensitive, I'm not falling. Like, it's not happening. Like, nothing can make me fall at this point. No matter how horrible the disappointment, really. Or whatever. Well, there's a few things that might... But, I mean, that's ridiculous. That wouldn't happen. Like, not now. So, I don't see... Yeah, whatever. Like, I'm doing better, but I don't really know what to do with it now. It's weird. Having a lot of introspective time. It's like my dark world vision interdimensional self is just constantly throughout my entire lifespan trying to puzzle like a way through, but interdimensionally, and like there isn't any. It's like every... Yeah, yeah, my language skills are failing me. How the hell do you even explain that? It's just the way things are ordered. Like, no matter where you go, it's always... You won't always end up getting caged by your own flaws, basically. Wherever direction you take it. But I mean, it's like one of these weird esoteric lessons that I went through is like learning to accept that. Just a big part of overcoming all of this, and even to be able to be stronger and face psychological warfare, is to accept that it exists, right? My greatest psychological challenges was always about accepting that this exists. Accepting that really fucked up evil that is like... that has no form of remorse or even consideration, versus like the horrifying pain and suffering and torment that another feels. Like that just exists, and there's absolutely nothing that's stopping that from happening. Like, there isn't any. There's no mystical force reaching out to stop that. It's like it's there on purpose, and it's insurmountable on an emotional level, right? Another obstacle. Oh, and then a mental obstacle, the globe, right? The idyllic world that's like tied in like dreams and all that, and that takes all the purpose away so that you can fill it in yourself, right? Like, there's no design or mission or whatever. No, you can do it whatever you like, right? And then at first that seems very appealing until you like get lost and become deranged and all that. Or you figure out like, yeah, maybe the Christians did kind of have a point with their cohesion and all that, even though they seem all crazy. And then they figure out like why they were crazy. And then they figure out like maybe the entire thing had a giant point, and these crazy people were just kind of in the way, making it look bad without even realizing it, to keep you off. Through them, the devil once again did his thing, like with all people. Yeah. Anyway, going through all kinds of introspective stuff. I watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail again, but that was like yesterday, by the way, or the day before. And I'm really, like, I watched the whole thing very carefully, and it was like really in awe in how much attention type content every scene has. Like, there is no real padding. Like, even the padding had attention. It's like attention nerds were like completely throughout the entire thing, because every scene has something that kind of like makes you think, that has its own little icon. Like every little scene is like a little painting that's very serious. Like even if it is as a joke, it's still very serious. And like the entire movie is just, every scene is memorable. Every scene in the entire movie of Monty Python's Holy Grail is memorable. Like has detail that is memorable and that makes it kind of unique. Every scene, it's incredible. Anyway. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if that first part of the show made any kind of sense to anybody. Introspective diving might have sounded really overgeneralized. But yeah, I am contemplating a lot of things, and that is natural when you basically ascend, right? When you're overcoming obstacles and gaining new ground, that's exactly what happens. Suddenly start comparing all these things and realizing the heavy weights, spiritual, on the inside. Trying to analyze the new ground like any living being does. Like any animal does that too. Like, oh, you get moved to a new place. What's the first thing that's on their mind? Exploring. They get a new open ground. Oh, exploring. You got a new ground, you got to orient yourself. So even in the spirit, if you got a new ground all of a sudden, you got a new opening, or a flaw suddenly was overcome, you got new ground. You got to orientate. You got to know what you're going to do with it. Otherwise, if you skip on that with your attention, then you might lose it again. You see, it might go away. So you need to have designation with your entry, or it'll just, you'll feel it for a bit, lose it, and then it'll just slip off, and it's like it never happened. Anyway. Right? But that's like even how thoughts work. If thoughts don't have a purpose, it'll slip away and it'll not find any connection. Right? Memory is all comprised of thoughts that have connection, that have a coherent connection, that can connect to everything else of the information, to the pool of it. Right? Thoughts just come like sprinkling out sometimes. But yeah, if you don't actively filter it at the source of manifestation, it becomes chaotic and wild and kind of like, what do you say, modern art like looking, anything could come out, right? If you don't filter that. Well, yeah, if you even have, no, naturally you already filter it, but then in art class you might be like, oh, what if you just do it differently and you try to let weird things out? Well, then you learn to turn it off, and then you have that side as well. I'm losing track of it. Can anybody fucking pipe up in chat? 25 minutes! Can anybody fucking say something? Jesus Christ, beside Richard, that is. Show up! Say something. Like, I'm not gonna get more coherent if nobody fucking shows up. Jesus Christ. Hello, Zap Tappy. Like, it's really jarring if everybody just shuts the fuck up for such a long period, you know? Just say something. I'm trying to roll out a train of thought. If there's literally like a dead silence, it feels like I'm rambling like a retard. Don't you get it? Everybody just shuts the fuck up and says nothing. Makes me feel like I'm such a fucking idiot that literally nobody wants to see it. Okay? Yeah? You get it? You get it? How many fucking times do I need to do this at the beginning of my show before people figure that out? Crying out loud. Oh, it's an awesome talk. Yeah, well, so awesome that literally just everybody starts like standing still like a zombie. God, what the fuck, man? I'm losing track of it. Like, if nobody says anything, I lose track of what I'm talking about. Because it starts to feel like I'm just talking to the wall or something. It gets weird. Don't make me do that. Hello, anyway, Clutch. Thanks. Right. I'm feeling a little weird anyway. That'll be alright. I'm just having a lot of, like, yeah, I'm sick without being sick. I'm suddenly, like, really having a bad response to tobacco. Like, I mean really bad. And that's very unsettling to me. In the meantime, overall, I'm kind of doing really good, but I'm also really stuck. Yeah, I've been stuck for a while. And I have no social life at all. And it's kind of starting to have some eccentric side effects by now. Right? And the springtime is here. Right. I get a little weird sometimes, and then sometimes I feel more weird than I'm actually. Right? So I feel like something I'm doing is really weird when it isn't that weird. I get that effect. It's like I'm suddenly shy or something. Weird. Right. Anyway, thanks for the feedback, Richard G. Yeah. Awesome. Was it awesome, though? I mean, I feel like it wasn't really that coherent. It was just so esoteric, it all just became like, oh, the color red, the color blue in my mind. It became so overgeneralized, I couldn't even grasp onto it anymore. So, I don't know, man. Hey, Two Wolves, 77, good to see you. You just woke up in the middle. Oh, okay. Right, yeah, no, I woke up pretty decently, and I slept good too. Again, it was less hard at the end. But I mean, I think it's probably like just this being sick without really being sick, but I'm still got mucus and all that, and my lungs just feel like more fragile or something. And sometimes it does kind of like a little bit, the preliminaries like instigate like panic attack feeling. And it gets me really restless. And I had just this, at some point, like, it's not a full-blown panic attack because I don't allow that to happen anymore. I can actually fight it actively. It's like, I just do that. Because full panic attack is like really bad for your physiology. Like, that's really bad if you really get a full-blown panic attack. It's bad when you're a teenager. You get that. And then you're strong and young. And then it's bad, yeah, well, when you're older, it's really fucked up. So most people probably don't experience that anyway. But I get just these moment of restlessness. And I had this weird sensation where it's like my heart stopped beating or something. Like I couldn't feel it anymore. I couldn't feel my own heart beating. It was so still. And that creeped me the fuck out. It's like, where's my pulse gone? But I mean, I didn't feel like I was dozing off, right? You would, right? So I'm just like kind of moving around, and then I can literally hear my heartbeat again. Because I'm like moving around. But it's weird, man. It's like this sort of soft panic attack situation, but it's not really, but you just get weirded out about it a lot. Anyway. Oh, wow. Oh, we got another troll comment. Oh, you're so brilliant. God, these gammas. I mean, that's their life. Anyway. It's got one of those defibrillator. Oh, you got that too, huh? Because I distinctly have that, but I can feel it coming. It's like tension. It's like nerve tension. It's like your nerve system. I mean, it fires up, does things, and then it's like sometimes it just goes like, like it suddenly like a lightning strike like goes there, and that makes me completely spastic for like a quarter of a second. Literally, it makes me result into doing like that, like in the middle of sleeping or what. It really freaks me out, but it is like that. It's like a tension feeling, and you feel really relaxed right before that happened. But it's like, it's the feeling like, okay, if that over exaggerates, if the shock like that would be too big, you would potentially like break your own freaking neck or something, like a bunny would. Like, bunnies can get so spastic that they literally break their own neck, and that's what it reminds me of sometimes, but that never happens. It's actually weirdly kind of pleasant when it happens, but it does feel like you're literally getting zapped. Like a spastic shock, but not painful, right? It's not actually electrocution feeling. It's not that pain that you actually get with the electrics. It really sucks, right? It's just the shock effect. It's so weird. You glad you're not the only... Yeah. I think that this might... I think I've been realizing also that it might be kind of standard even that happens. That a lot of people that are spirited and on the right track tend to have that sort of thing because they have a lot of high tension on them through their spirit, through facing the darkness, realizing it's there in the first place, right? When you realize it's there, you got to polarize against it, you got tension on you. Well, I think that doing that, then as a side effect, can have that you've just had this tension field building up, especially when you try to go to sleep. It's all fine, but then at a certain point you feel it coming. It's like you feel almost like passively jiggly, like you're going to be hee, but you don't, you're still, and then like a lightning hits and poof, and you get that like a spastic pulse. It's so odd, but yeah, I think that might be like a side effect. It's like God's little lightning bolts to charge you up or something, because it is kind of good. Like, I never get hurt when that happens from it. Like, just me. Yeah, Clutch. No, I think a lot of people go through all of it. And like, I had that kind of feedback even years ago when I first tried to explain it. It's like my parents would say like, yeah, we all get that. We hide it. We hide that from one another. So you don't have to have your attention on it all the time, because if you're going to tell others you got a problem, then they might start to want to talk about it. And then everybody's all giving the problem a lot of attention. It might start to lead its own life. You might get a hypochondriac because of it, right? So it's like you hide. As a social habit with the family structure, you hide your problems in face-to-face situations, right? But then you don't really learn about what's happening all the time, and you might start to think, am I the only one? but you aren't. Apparently, most people go through all kinds of weird little processes, sometimes on a daily basis. Weird feelings, pains sometimes, and you don't always know what that is. And doctors can't tell you shit, dude. Like the regular doctors, they don't know anything about that at all. It's like, oh, well, if you have damage or you don't have damage, or oh, let me check your vitamin level or something, right? I mean, they're not gonna be able to figure out what the hell that is. They rarely do. I mean, you might, if you want to throw giant amounts of money against them or something and to get a real research going, but otherwise, like, no, they never figure out those weird. Most doctors just say, like, no, everybody has that kind of thing. Because it's true. But the kind of thing you get is also another piece of information as to what is your type that you get that kind of thing. What does it signify in connection to German New Medicine? Like, what is it about? Why do you get that thing? Because everything is with a purpose, is for a reason. So you might just take for granted, like, oh, it's just this. But what is it really? Like, what is it in the great fractal of God's design? What does it really mean if you have a certain thing? Well, I am trying to figure that out, just as like I'm trying to figure out what is this weird little spastic lightning strike effect that other people also seem to have. Well, it might, I feel it out. I literally, ethereal tentacles feeling it out in nothing. What is that? Could it be like a God's lightning bolt, like a little enervating thing to jolt your defenses against evil for a bit? Is it a side effect of fighting a spiritual battle against evil that you get that? I think it's that. I think it is literally, you get that effect as a side effect of spiritually having the serious battle against the real evil, not like, ooh, imaginary, but like just dealing with the realization that it's there and then really meeting with the energy from the inside to be stronger and to be more self-reliant and really mean it. And you get higher tension when you do that. It works a lot of the time with people, that's why you do it. But the higher tension then has that as a side effect. So it's almost a recognizer then. See how every little, weird little thing, it's so weird, I don't want to know about it. Yeah, but it can literally be a guide stone on your spiritual, a guide stone to tell you this is where you're at. You only have to recognize what it is, what it means. There's so much valuable information that you face all the time. You only need to recognize what it is. Right? It's like God gives you the whole map all the time, right in your face, but you forget to read it. You forget what it means. It just becomes a bunch of abracadabra to you. And that's how you lose. That's how you basically end up dead. Because you failed to read his messages. Right, anyway, I'm gonna get a Illuminati croissant, put it in the oven, and I'm gonna get it now. Be right back. Ha. Haha. So there I am. Looking forward to that. I was really hungry this morning, which is a great sign, by the way. It's always a great sign when you're really hungry in the morning. Right. Well, a boat is not designed to sit still. Well, I don't really sit still. But I mean... Right. Well, tension can build up because of all kinds of things, including sitting still for long periods or just like not really having a complete interaction-based life. Right. So for me, I am pretty much a hermit. Yeah. I mean, I really am. But because of that, I lack social interaction. I really lack it. I mean, I do this show, but this is kind of a weird supplicant for that. Because I can express myself even more, but I don't really have the contact. I have the contact on spirit, but not the face. It's not the same. It only fulfills partially, really. And sometimes I really miss just being able to be other sides of me in private situations with people. I miss it. On the other hand, looking back, like I don't even know if that's possible anymore. Like, will people not just be awkward with me because I've become so different? Do this and that. Yeah, oh, this and that can help. Yeah, that's already being done. It's already happening. Yeah, I go on a bicycle regularly and I do enjoy the nature. I like the place around me is nature. When I go on my bicycle, there's a lot of nature to see for me. Like a lot of it. It's a great route. I love it. Right? So, but that's not the same. It's like I'm not being forced to deal with people. And so, yeah, I don't bump into good ones either that way. Barely. And it's kind of awkward. I mean, even like in the supermarket where I go, it's like, yeah, I know all the employees, most of them girls and women. And I do like them, but I mean, I still don't like. I don't know how to like take that any further than that. Like that feels really weird, and I don't really feel I truly connect with them other than through the food. But a lot of them are not even that enthusiastic. Like there's a lot of the old guard, the older generations, like 40-plussers. That they were really into like organic food knowledge and all that. The newer generations, I'm not seeing it. Not really. They don't have the same zeal. So, I mean, that also makes them less connectable because I really like that. I like that generation. That's really into, because I am that generation. I am really into, I was there really discovering the organic food, what that was. Right. But a good thing for me would probably to just find like conventions of some sort that would really fit me. That would work for me. Just go place, check out things, bump into people, talk about things. right? Anyway, it basically comes down to, I'm wondering, like, if I want to get a social life a little bit more extensive, like, where do I go? What do I actually seek out? Who's gonna give a shit? Like, where am I actually gonna fit somewhat? Right? Because, I mean, yeah, sure, there are places where I'll always fit, but I'll be surrounded by what feels to me like just complete spastic idiots. And I definitely do not classify like that. Like, there's nothing I can do with that. It's like, oh, I can fit with some places are meant that anybody can be in there. Yeah, but that means I'm literally surrounded by retards. Excuse me, but no, I refuse. I kind of tried that out. It's like just to be part of a group where nobody's gonna whine about whatever you are, right? I mean, I almost ended up among SJWs because of that. Literally. It's like that category kind of was my friend circle for a while. I never really dealt with the more spastic political side of that. Because for a long time I thought I was kind of on that side. I didn't really know what it was that much, right? But those used to fucking be my friends, god damn it! It sucks! I hate it! I hate it so much! I hate that I fucking understand those people. I don't want to understand those people, but I do. Because they used to be my friends and I know why they're going fucking insane. I know why. I know what that is. Raw butter for lunch? What the hell? Okay, LVA Paul. You just eat a stick of butter? What the? Ew. Right, I'm gonna take an Illuminati croissant anyway. Hello, Rachie, by the way. You get a wrench? Yeah, get a hobby. Well, guess what, Rachie? Got a bit of a problem. You see, I used to have a hobby. It was called Dungeons and Dragons Tabletop. I was a game master, a very wanted thing that made me popular because game mastering is hard to do right. Yeah? And here's the thing, guess what? All those freaking gamers are all liberals. Yeah? And Dungeons and Dragons is now even like they're getting all racialist. They're getting all SJW. Like they have literally erased the concept of a half-elf because they thought they're racist. Okay, yeah, fuck you. Yeah? Wizards of the Coast, I literally hope those people get into a horrific accident. That is an accident. Like literally riding on their stupid gay little bicycle or whatever they ride, and then they trip, knock their head, and then drown in liquid concrete, right? I hope that kind of shit happens to the people that decided that. Fucking die! The worst of death curses on you. Die, bitch! I'm a half-elf. Yeah, literally, like that. Fuck you and die, scum! Traitor to the Tolkien lore, from which you have stolen pretty much everything. You scum. Die. Death cursed on you. Absolutely death curse. Whoever fucking decided that. Yeah, but the whole problem is with that scene is that they're all a bunch of SJW compliant freaks. And they're pro the latest thing or whatever. It was annoying. I had a lot of trouble with my gaming group. Despite being a stellar game master. Like a storyteller. A real one that makes actual fucking effort. It's not just, oh, one prop to the other prop and you just fill in your own story. No, I'm a story fucking teller. Yeah? And I'm good at it. Really good at game mastering. But I had trouble with my players because I've never had a gaming group that didn't have a fucking transgender in them. But I didn't care or anything. But it's just like, it's out there. They're into D&D and they're making it all fucking woke and gender bullshitty. Yes, really. They're involving their garbage into it. And I hate that. I'm totally anti that. And so I'm, a community. I have a really good skill. They don't really want to play with me because I'm so not woke. And they hate it. Like, I am anti-woke. I'm like proudly the opposite. I think it's a virtue. Yeah? A virtue to be sexist. It's a virtue to have that role difference. Like, really big. Like, I get literally glory feelings over that. Yeah? I love it. And it's a great part of what I do when I storytell. It's part of the story. And if you then don't like it, but it's so not woke. Well, yeah, guess what? I don't have that fucking community. I don't connect up with that community anymore. It's gotten worse. It's just mutated in this intangible garbage. Yeah, I don't get emails like, oh man, I heard you're a game master. We're really looking for that. Nope. Although, I don't know, maybe there are there's a lot of gaming going on with Dungeons and Dragons groups. So maybe these are the circles that I bumped into. They were all so freaking liberal, man. So fucking liberal. And I mean, not even gay or anything. Just really liberal. Like the naive version of that. Yeah. Anyway. Let's read what you were talking about. Photography as a hobby? No. No, I don't like it. I'm not a photographer. I can make photos very well, but I hate making a lot of photos. It's like when I go on vacation and I'll take a camera with me, I'll come back and I'll have like 7 photos and they'll be like awesome photos, but it's like I don't want more. It's just as much as you need, and that's it. I'm not a photographer type. I mean, my brother used to go on vacations and then come back with a fucking 1,000 photos and then expect us to watch it all. Yeah, dude, go fuck yourself, man. I mean, why don't you go move to Japan, you freak? What the hell's wrong with you? Why didn't you actually do it instead of just photographing everything like a freak? I'm not a photographer. Oh, look. The funny thing is,
I think if I could get some flat earther types into tabletop role-playing games, that can actually be really interesting. You see, what you can do as a game master with tabletop role-playing games is apply cosmogony concepts quite easily. Yeah, the things that I talk about on my show and describe, like, oh, the loop is suddenly closing, and what you see, like a mirror warping situation, almost like the scene in Interstellar where they go through the wormhole, right? It's like it's warping, and I can literally start describing what your characters are looking at and how freaky that feels and all that. I can get like cosmogonical. I can do like really surreal shit because of my flat earthism, and I can apply that in a game too. So I can make a world based on what I think how the world works, right? And anybody can do that. I mean, as a game master, you can say, oh, it's a dome on a disc, and in the middle is a magnetic mountain, or a stupid hole with a black hole in there, or whatever, black hole sun. Yeah, you can literally, as a game master, decide this is how the world works, right? Or you can be like a geek and say, oh no, other planets, and oh, we're just medieval, but secretly an alien lands and leaves a laser gun or whatever, right? You can take it any freaking direction. But yeah, with flat earthers, you can literally simulate a lot of things and apply flat earth to it. You can even use D&D as... You can literally make a setting where it's like the religious war. You can simulate it. You can simulate that there would be a religious war of the globe religion. Right? It would be like a religious war, but like for comparable to Catholics versus Muslims in, medieval times? And then just transplant, say, like, no, but it's very specifically about the shape of the world and things involved with that, and secret things on top of that, right? I mean, yeah, it's a flat earth. Well, that's kind of magical. So what other magical things? Dude, you can literally say, like, yeah, what if there really is unicorns in there? You can make it really biblical based, mysterious. Or you can take it another direction. As a game master, you can adapt the entire game world if your vision is coherent enough. Yeah. As a storyteller. And you can literally just create that world like as a backdrop. As a backdrop for what you'll actually be doing, which is what your characters are and your mission. And it's probably going to involve fighting and adventuring and digging for treasure or something, right? Or, I don't know, defending a farmer's village or whatever, which, hey, it's not a bad simulation to have, right? So, I might eventually, like, kind of, like, find flat earthers that will be like, hey, dude, we heard you're, like, a good game master or whatever. We were looking for one. We're flat earthers. What about it? I'd be like, whoa, that's actually kind of cool. In the Netherlands, though, because it's not gonna be I'm not gonna be an online game master. I want to see people face to face, because I can use more of my skill when I do it. You see, as a game master, I do a lot of like weird spiritual detail too. Very benevolent, right? Because I can see and help somebody get into it, right? Because we're constantly talking the story, and then if I see them and I see their response, right, up close, I can really know where they're at. I can figure them out better if I'm face to face, and that's very important to keep them properly suspended in the story. that doesn't really work as well online. And then you'll just start to notice like you're not connecting, and then people lose interest or like get sloppy, and then it's all screwed up, right? In face-to-face situations, I can really prevent that from ever happening. Like, it's never happened before, right? With my gamers, I've played for, what is it altogether, 5 years? Never a dead end. Never. It's never happened that like we really got stuck, or it like really we couldn't like go through anymore because we too much friction or something. Never happened once, despite there being some pretty freaky shit. Well, the free people there were kind of crazy at times, right? But I mean, they'd go crazy off on one another, but I wouldn't let it influence the rest. Didn't let myself get dragged into something stupid like relationship shit. But yeah, I'm gonna do game mastering face to face. That's how I do it. So it's gonna be Dutch. It's not gonna be international, unless I go to places or whatever, and maybe eventually I will kind of do it. But I mean, I don't want another freaking online hobby. Okay. The whole point is I want to see people face to face more. I want to be dealing with face to face situations more. I miss it. I want my life back. No, yeah, Rachie, you're totally right. Because, look, all that weird gender politics nonsense, right? All that stuff. You can fulfill all those needs in D&D very easily, right? Because you can make your character how you want it. Like, I played female characters too. And I'm like, I can actually give that a halfway decent content. Sometimes. When I had that, right? It's like, you just do it. And then you go back to, oh yeah, and who are you really in the real world, right? That's the only difference. It's not like, my D&D character is the real thing. Yeah, that's not happening. Right? But I mean, this whole woke gender nonsense thing and, oh, I feel the opposite sex. Dude, you can literally fulfill those needs playing D&D. Done. You don't have to fuck up your entire life. You don't have to mutilate yourself, yeah? You can just play a character of the opposite sex in a prolonged game, and people will not even think it's awkward. You get it? Don't you get it, you idiot? You're a guy, you feel like a girl sometimes, you can play a girl in a Dungeons and Dragons game and really live that out, and people will admire you for it. And not because you're like, how dare you not admire me? No, it's because they'll actually admire you as that character. You can get what you need playing D&D, and it's all done with. You don't have to fuck up society to get that fulfilled. You don't have to screw yourself over to have that fulfilled. You can just play D&D and have it fulfilled, and people will genuinely respect you for that side of you. Yeah? You don't have to force it out of them. You don't have to make things awkward. Right? I mean, you feel like, oh, I'm actually a dolphin. Well, guess what? You can play a dolphin man if you really want to. You can make your own modification in the game just to fulfill that. And whatever, man. Like, you can play it out in there. And you don't actually have to mutilate yourself to have those needs fulfilled. How dare you not admire me? Yeah, that's right. It sounds funny, but it's true though, isn't it? Ah, man. The Illuminati croissant is certainly hitting the spot. Ah. It doesn't work that way, Rufus and Hobbins. Yeah, a game master, it's not like a game you don't just play one game. The whole point of D&D is that you play it for years on a regular basis. Yeah, there's groups out there that are still now playing for like 40 years on one campaign, and often the time that's actually spent in the campaign, that passes in the campaign, is much shorter than in the real world. Yeah, it's not uncommon that you spend 40 years on a really serious campaign, and then in that campaign world it's only 10 years or less, sometimes like 1 year. Like if it's really a hectic scenario, you play everything out. Well, it takes a lot of time, and in the real world time passes a lot quicker. So yeah, traveling around, it's not like a circus show. It's not like, oh, let's just play D&D and you do it one time and then you move it. That's useless. You don't get into the game then. It's very superficial. It's more like a really just a cheap computer game that you're just doing spoken. That's what it's like then. If you just have one game is lame. Right? I mean, even like the shortest imaginable game campaign would be at least like 3 separate sessions. A beginning, middle, and an end. Because you also, as players and game master, need a lot of time in between. You know, that time is required. As a game master, you don't really have a life. You just have that game mastering. I'm not even joking. Because you're trying to figure out who your players are, what they're looking for, and then what can you do to provide, and then anticipate that in for your next campaign, for your next game session. Game masters don't have a life. They're the good ones, because they just spend all their time on preparing game sessions. It's crazy. I know all about it because that's exactly who I was. Like, I had game mastering and I had the role-playing Dungeons and Dragons on my own thing outside. That was it. And then that dropped during 2000, unfortunately. The group scattered. Ongoing game. Yeah. No, Dungeons and Dragons is specifically ongoing. If it's just one game, it's like a board game. That's lame. It's just, oh, you do something. Well, you're gonna get bored really quickly because it doesn't mean anything. There's no ongoing story, right? Why would you get into an ongoing story if the game is just gonna last maybe like 4 hours and that's it? Right? Might as well then just like have somebody read a fairy tale or something. Read out loud, right? No. The whole point of tabletop role-playing games is that you have long-during campaigns that you get into, try to figure out who you are, what you can do, what you should do, and then the players get really serious, right? It's a real challenge to master your characters and work together and then figure out how to get through the challenges. It can be depending on how good how challenging the game master is. I had a bit of a problem with that because the way I game mastered, I had a bit of a glass cannon effect going on, which would be like it was very difficult to challenge the players in a way that was actually challenging for them. And then like just one little push too much and then they're all dead. It's like, oops, like that was the risk continually. It's like it all became kind of glass cannon-y. Just because the players were like really good in character building, like kind of power playing, like naturally very good at it. I didn't really allow them to cheat, but they knew how to basically dominate the combat like a bit too much. It was a real challenge to challenge him and not like then automatically get everybody killed instantaneously. It was a real challenge. Right, but yeah, it's an ongoing game, and that is what makes it really interesting. If it's not, it's just one campaign, you could just as well play a board game or have mother read you a fairy tale or whatever, because that would be more interesting. How it's represented on Stranger Things. Yeah, well, that's a decent representation, Stranger Things. That's just the classic 2.0 Dungeons and Dragons style. Yeah. I mean, mostly you get to see the combat part, right? And hey, some gamers really only like the combat. But those end up usually just playing Warhammer 40k, that kind of thing, where it's just battle. Well, Dungeons and Dragons also has, logically a story component to that. But I mean, yeah, finding a good story is kind of difficult. Figuring out a good story development, that's always the biggest challenge. And though there are books for that, they're just basically campaign books, where you get the story, but it's pre-written. But anyway. Hey Nathan Oakley, good to see you. Love the action. Yeah, sure you would. But if you love the action, I mean, there's video games that represent how that works well enough. Right? The real unique power of tabletop role-playing game is not how the combat works. It's the adaptability. It is that the game master can literally decide to completely rewrite a part of the story or that he had planned out, right? As a game master, you always have plans of what can your players roll into, and then have it all ready for them. It's like you basically surround them by traps and then see which trap they fall into, and then more traps surrounding that trap. And that's all you ever do. It doesn't have to be fatal though, but always surround where they're going. Like, oh, they're going that direction. Okay, well, that means that I'm going to have to now focus on the areas that they're going to be dealing with as they go in that direction, right? And the thing is, if you're good at that, then you can literally like interactively just like write and design the entire world around them like it was always there. And that is a very magical experience for players. If the game masters really like makes it real, and like that, because then they actually feel that they are there, like they're really there, because they can just say, I'm going that direction, and then it will appear, and then the things that they have done will actually have influenced the entire shape of that world, how it's manifesting, and you will feel that. makes it very real, very personal. I mean, gamers that have gone for a very long time sticking to a game world, they often get like really infatuated with that and the memories of it, because it's like almost like heaven. It's like it's very personal, very close. They've been through so much there. But that is real. Like, the experience of it is real. I mean, you might still be a pudgy, googly-eyed nerd or whatever. Doesn't really matter. But you will have that experience there in that virtual world. It becomes very personal. And people will be nostalgic about it. There's plenty of stories of gamers that are like, yeah, man, I mean, yeah, the group doesn't really come together anymore. We haven't seen each other in 5 years, but man, I miss it. I miss that. Just nobody's schedule ever works out. There's a lot of those stories with people that are in those situations. They had gamers groups, and then it just nobody had time anymore, but they really miss it. I really miss it. Anyway, I'm all over the place today. Okay, yeah, laser light up. What did you expect? Right, so I hope everybody enjoys the show. Even though I'm mostly just dwelling around here with my thoughts. Right. Are you talking about LVA Palm? Oh, your computer just blew up or something? That sucks.
Tournament approved chessboard. Okay, Sept Heavy. Oh, okay. Right. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Board games. Yeah, it's not a D&D is not a board game like that. It's tabletop. That's not really a board. I mean, you'd use a board for combat scenarios, but it's not just some standard board. I mean, it's not a board game. Right. Anyway, yeah, still got 25 minutes to go. Did I start late today? Oh. Right. Just like 12 minutes. I made you hungry? Oh, sorry about that, Rachie. Yeah, but I was really hungry, so I needed to eat that. I actually had hoped to be able to eat that before the show. But then my roommate apparently decided to put a cake in there, in the oven, pretty much until I start the show. So, yeah. But I mean, I did enjoy it a lot. It was very nice. Yeah, by the way, anybody watch Owen Benjamin yesterday? At the urban farmer guy on Curtis Stone. That was pretty intense. It was a good conversation. And they also went into like esoterics like I do. I mean, the guy was obviously like really tapped in. But he also just had that great kind of rancher talk about fences and animals, and I love that shit. I don't really have any of those types of stories. I just got my weird psychology stories and metaphors. It's raining as usual. You've never watched Owen Benjamin? Really? Never? Maybe it's just not your thing.
Man, but you guys missed out on a lot. You missed out on Tyrone Shoelaces, the fourth astronaut who was left behind on the moon to film the pod launch. I mean, he had a whole thing about that, and song. It's so freaking funny, man. I laughed my ass off. You missed out. I mean, Akuma virus. You would. Did you catch on to that, Tyrone? You would think that's funny too. He's a comedian. Yeah, he's a comedian, big time. Famous and infamous. He's also a flat earther, by the way. But yeah, I'll say, yeah, he has a BitChute page. Just use that. I mean, I'm subscribed to his website. Right. But yeah, just be warned, he literally makes fun of absolutely everything. I mean, if you think that I'm straightforward about some things, well, he's like pretty extreme. Flat Earth Awakening. Thanks to David Weiss, among other. We also had a whole back and forth with Eric Dubay, and that's where the frickin' word Savonier comes from. Like, that's an Owen Benjamin word. I got that through him. Right. But I mean, it was a interesting time when he basically converted, when he got into flat Earth. When was it? No. Was it 2017 also? Or was it like 2019? I'm not sure anymore when exactly it was. Check. When did I start growing my mustache? Because that's pretty much like within half a year of getting to know about him. Okay, Rachie, yeah, that's a good habit to have. Hey, LSG, good to see you. How are we doing, man? How did you spell that? Nobody cares. It's not a real word anyway. But I spell it this way. I don't know if it's... whatever. This is how I spell it. It's a made up word. Anyway, it's a name... Man, but the whole Savonier thing is from like years ago now. One similar to Special Boy. Yes, that's correct, Rufus and Hubbins. But it's, look, a Special Boy, a Savonier, it's like, yeah, Savonier, Special Boy, Gamma, right? But they're not necessarily completely, yeah, Gamma is like really universal. Special Boy is also a little bit like that. A Savonier is kind of more specific. It's about somebody that really thinks that they know the truth, and they might actually know the truth, but that they're then better than everybody else because they know it. That's the real Savonier syndrome. It's like, oh, you find out something. Oh, now you feel you're the elite because you know this thing and everybody else doesn't. That's typical Savonier syndrome. Right? And yeah, Special Boys typically seek that out. But, I mean, it's not... They will also just make it up sometimes. Like, real Gammas just make up their own superiority sometimes. Right? If they can't find any legitimate real-world reason to consider themselves superior to others, then they will just make up something. They will make their own little personal mystery religion just to know something that makes them better. Yeah. That's the, yeah, I know, Septepi. That's like really in the beginning. That's when he first stumbled into it, and he was like, he was gonna make fun of it, and then he just figured out, like, fuck, I'm not a flat earther. I can't be a flat earth person, damn it. Yeah. But after that time, I also gave him all the amazing, like, Mountain Bear cartoons and all that. That was awesome. Is he still like that, though? Well, Rufus... I mean, no. No, I don't think so. I think that... I saw recently an interview with him and somebody else. Damn, I have to switch accounts. It's kind of annoying. Let's see. Where is it? It's a while ago, though. Come on. Where is it? What the hell? Oh, there it is. Right. Flat Earth and the Soul Lure System. It's interesting. I mean, not everything about... I mean, Eric Dubé has like these really clear-cut flaws that he just insists upon every time. But overall, he had a very... I thought he was just generally kind of sensible about it. Very subtle, very careful with the things that he ended up discussing here. So yeah, if you haven't watched that, it's an interesting video to watch. 2 hours though. But I mean, I watched through the whole thing, and usually don't do that with videos like this. Yeah, Savonier would be a great brand name for wine or champagne. That's a good one, Slow-Mo Moonbuggy. Dude, if there would be like a... yeah, just flat earth wine and call it Sauvignon. That's getting a bit silly here. But I mean, yeah, it would make a great wine name. Tall glass of Sauvignon. It might already exist, by the way. Like some French brand or whatever. There might already be a brand of some wine that is called Sauvignon. It might just as well be. I mean, did you say that was it? I don't know. Oh, yeah, I said it. Yes. It was like a deeper discussion, and it was good. I mean, I don't remember all of it. I remember that I disagreed with some things, but I thought it was overall very well, carefully thought through still. Give me some. Okay, no problem, Richard G. Right, yeah, Richard. Yeah, but it's also because they talk about things that, well, Owen Benjamin also talks about. I don't really talk too much directly about it, but it is about, like, what is the nature of creation itself? Like, is it a soul trap, or is it like a prison and you have to escape, or is it something you can't escape? It was like really hyper fundamental, and it was like Eric has obviously thought about it extensively. It was interesting. But to be fair, I thought it was actually more interesting to listen to than some of like Howdy Machowski's little videos. I mean, he's like really onto that, but I thought that this video, it did actually titillate me in a way. Like, it did definitely make me think also, like, those are some good points. Some well-structured, formulated thoughts about it. Takes it serious. So, yeah, I appreciated that stream, and that's why I'm linking it up. You've been listening to Christopher Gardner? Yeah, he's decently interesting. He's absolutely not perfect. There's like things about him that I definitely disagree with, but I mean, there's no point really. It's just he does it the way he wants to do it. But yeah, he's also very much into like Rudolf Steiner and all that. Right? Kind of like I am. Although sometimes I think that I'm even more into it than he is, but I don't know. I mean, there's more layers, and he is much more head-on with the whole development of it. I should probably just go and do that too, but then again, I'm a freaking hermit, man, so it's not really my style. Spirit, good with the spirit mechanics. Yeah. No, he knows how to do things. I think that I feel that I'm actually a better explainer than he is. Let's just say it like that. But I mean, yeah, he knows energy mechanics for sure. He knows healing. He knows all these things. No FED today? What? The fuck? Oh god, did his last amps also blow up now? The fuck, dude? Next week? What the hell? Dude. Oh well. Arwen extended show? Nah, maybe a bit. I can at least fill the 2 hours, but I don't know. I feel really like taking it easy today. If it was a little bit sunnier, I should just say like, hey, God, could you have please planned out everything in a way that it's gonna turn out to be really beautiful sunny weather, like in just like 10 minutes from now or 20 minutes from now? That would be great if you happen to have planned it all along like that. Parasitic after show? No. I mean, there's no panel, so if Nathan will open a G plus panel, then that might technically become possible, but pseudo after. Well, if he'd open it up, then I don't know. Yeah, sure, could be done. Skype? No, I definitely would not recommend that, because the sound's gonna suck terribly with that. Like multiple people. But can't Nathan just like open? Can't he just open a panel and then not really use it? Just open a room. But I mean, G plus for like technically, like if I want to have guests on, G plus would be great for me as well. Yes, to let people in. Oh yeah. Well, good on you, George Sanford. Right. So yeah, I guess that's happening. Nathan. I don't really get it though. Like, what, you really can't run any sound, or I mean, yeah, the sound might be shitty. I don't know. It's not worth it probably then, I guess, for you. But I don't understand how you're blowing it up in the first place. I really don't get it. I've never had any kind of sound machine blow up on me ever. Like, never ever. I don't get it. How do you do that? Where's that? That's a default YouTube picture, Moxie. I don't know where it's taken. Blast music? What are you talking about, Rachie? That never happens. Hilarious, but I mean, yeah, I don't get it. I don't know what the hell he's doing. Right. But Alright, I think I'm gonna round out the show. I'm not really super energetic today anyway. Don't know what it is. Probably just my lungs still being kind of toasty. Right. Anyway, yeah, I don't even know what the hell am I gonna call my show today. I mean, it's... The beginning was just like confusing. Almost. It was probably more coherent than I felt it was, but... Then what the hell did we talk about? It was so over the place, I don't even know what to call today's show. Right. Anyway, hope that tomorrow I'll be a little bit more focused, maybe with the subject. Ooh! Hey, I see... The tree is starting to really bloom, by the way. Look at that. Like, you can see the pink spots popping in. Yes, of course. Never. Can you see that? Maybe just a little. Like the right one. Yeah, it's not really popping out for the cam, but it is for my eyes, though. Nice some color. Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to this spring. I love spring, but I do get like often like a bit sickish and all kinds of weird internal things happening. Last time I got that giant swollen cheek and shit. This side. I don't feel that's gonna happen this time. It's also because, well, at the time there was apparently just a bone splinter just freely migrating, and that was actually the cause of it. So that's not gonna happen again. Right, but I really do hope that I'm gonna get a little bit more on track and more focused, because I don't feel super focused, even though I feel plenty rested. Right? I don't sound tired or anything. It's just that I don't know really what to focus on as much. Any feedback from previous shows? Perhaps? Any of you even remember what we were talking about? Right. So for the yesterday's show, system entanglement consequences, lots of esoterics. I was super focused on that. and I could actually keep track. Today, I don't know, man. I'm just kind of like, I can't really focus too great. And I feel that it is like the springtime because this frequency, feeling like this, it is that. It's not something really I did. It's this feeling that I get in these types of days during springtime around Easter. Because I have memories of these types of feeling around Easter, which would be in my grandmother's old farmhouse in Friesland, where we all came together with my family, my aunt's family and all that. And I would end up having this kind of feeling, typically there. So it is associated with spring and Easter time that I typically start to feel like this. It's like, not tired, just kind of flustered. Like a little bit trouble concentrating my thoughts. Like, I can still do stuff, like the automatic systems work fine. Like, it's not like I'm tired, it's just that I have trouble focusing. And that's what it seems to be. You could say it's the pollen or something, it might be. When I'm like this, also my eye muscles get more tired easily, so. Right. Anyway, yeah, unfortunately no flat earth debates for a while, it seems. Right, but we might do, I mean, I might like have some extra show at some point. I might do that. And then get on like Adam and John and Chocolate and Brian and the whole crew if they want to. It'll be fun. Yeah, I think it's so. I think it will be fun. Just not really right now. Right. So, anyway, I'm rounding out. Thanks everyone for coming. What? Chinese? Oh, Discord is all of China now, George Sanford, is it? Is it really? Didn't know that, by the way. Right, anyway, thanks everyone for coming. I hope you liked this show. It was a bit fuzzy, I guess, not super focused, but I got kind of esoteric. I might actually listen back to like the first part, just to see what I was saying. If it was anywhere comprehensible as well as I thought it was, as I was thinking it. Right. Anyway, if you like the show, then please don't forget to Rogan's it up, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification so you know when I'm going live, which is normally 1 p.m. Amsterdam time in the weekdays and 2 p.m. Amsterdam time in the weekend. And please also do support me through the PayPal, Patreon. That would be much appreciated. You can always use the support still. But thanks everybody for, well, making sure that I keep going. Just like another week or 1.5 to, well, yeah, still have some time to go. So I could still use more support, but it's been good so far. So thanks for helping me out there and keeping the show going. Right. I'll be back tomorrow with Flat Earth Early Bird number 1569 on a Thursday. And yeah, no Flat Earth debates live for a while. There is a premiere though that's starting. No low live show. Nathan's gonna explain, so we'll see about that. Right. And yeah, maybe I'll do an extra show like tomorrow or Friday or something. Would be pretty cool. to have the guys on for a bit. Right, but anyway, until the next video, keep it flat.